Now let's read this problem carefully and try to solve it. If you are confident of your skills, I highly recommend that you pause the video, try to solve the problem, then compare your solution to mine. So, design a small program to manage books in a library. The system should use a class book with properties, title, author, publication year, and constructors. Use access modifiers to ensure some data is read-only. Example, ISBN. Use methods to add a book to the library, display book details. Use a static method to count the total number of books in the library. Organize the solution by creating a library system as a separate class with methods to manage books, a library system as a separate project using your custom-built library system class as a library. In order for us to be able to solve these complex-natured problems, we need to compartmentalize them into smaller problems. And the way to do that is to read them carefully and to divide the main issues from the details. The first main issue is to create a class called book with these properties and some methods. So let's begin with this. Control-Shift-A, and then we create a class called book. And inside this class, I'm just going to first change the access modifier to public. After that, I'm just going to create 4 properties. Prob 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we have the author, or the title first maybe. The title, which is of type string. We have the author as well, of type string. We have the ISBN, and this is read only, so it will be private, and then read only, and then ISBN. And since it's a read only, so it doesn't take get and set. Okay, so private read only string ISBN, and then this is gone. And last but not least, it takes the publication year. Okay. All right. So now we need 3 methods. One to display the book. So it will display book, and this method will only use console.writeLine, a string interpolation, and it will retrieve the title. It will retrieve the author, the ISBN, and of course the publication year. Okay, so the title of the book, I'm just going to copy this wording to use it in the lines, /n, the author of the book, okay, and the ISBN of the book. We have the publication year, so the publication year of the book. Okay, and now we also have another one to display the count. So I'm just going to use public, and I believe it's a static. So static method to count the total number of books. Okay, so it's called void, we can use display count, or simply just integer and then display count. And I'm just gonna create, and since this is static, so we need a static field with it to go with it. So we need static integer count, and this count will begin with 0. This is an initial value only, and this will return count. If you removed static from here, it won't accept it, and it will tell you this is a static method and you cannot pass in not static properties. Basically, an object reference is required for the non-static field, method, or property book count. So you have to make this static and this static. Otherwise, if they're not both static, it will create an issue and it will not accept a non-static property. Control K, Control D, and then we need to create another one to add a book. So public void add a book, and in order for us to add a book, we need to receive a book. So I'm just going to make this a static as well. Static void add a book, and then this is book of type book. And in order for us to add a book, we need a list to add into, right? Because where else would we save the box that we are adding? So we need a list. So we need list of books, right? And I know I didn't cover list yet, but it's a good way for you to know and observe that you have to do your own reset sometimes. So I'm just gonna use books, and then this will make books dot add a book, and it will increase the count by 1. Of course, this has to be static as well, and it will do count plus plus. Okay, I believe that's it. Let's first, before jumping to the second phase of the problem, try to create an instance of box and see if it works or not. So book equal new book, and then inside this we have, okay, wow, okay, so we need a constructor too. I forgot about the constructor. Okay, so ctor, and then start adding the fields or the properties. String title, string author, string ISBN, string publication year, oh I'm sorry, publication year is an integer publication year. What else do we have? We can instantiate count in here, by the way, but we don't need to. And we need to instantiate the list, but since it's a static, and so it requires to be instantiated in here. So equal new list of books. All right. So this dot title equal title, this dot author equal author, this dot ISBN equal ISBN, and this dot publication year equal publication year. So now we should be good to go. Okay, so if we open the bracket here, it will tell me the title, the author, the ISBN, and the publication year. And let's just choose the Lord of the Ring. The Lord of the Ring. The author is Tolkien. The ISBN, let's just choose LOR, and then 456. Okay, and the publication year, I believe it was 55 or around that time. Okay, and I'm just gonna create book 1, book 2, book 3. All right, so the same thing, I will go book 2 and then book 3. So book 2 and book 3 I'll choose another name. Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen. P A P (998). I believe this was around 1800, 1813. And what else? We can have the Kill of Mockingbird. The Kill of Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Kill (111). This was 1960. Okay, and now to display the book information, we just access book1.display, display book, and then control.writeline, and then the same. Book2 display, console.writeline, and book3 display, console.writeline. Okay, that should do it. And also we need to add the books to the list, so book1.add, or I'm sorry, it's a static field, so we access it directly from the class. .add book, book1, book.add book, book2, book.add book, book3. Okay. All right. And what else? And then we have the count. So it is book.count. Or I'm sorry, it is display count, I believe, display count, and that should return the value. So I'm just going to display it, the numbers of books in my library is, and then we have this. Okay, let's try it. Here you go. Lord of the Ring, Tolkien, LOR 456, 1955. We should have adjusted this one. I believe this one has a problem with the format. And yes, like this. Now display it again. So Lord of the Ring, the second one Pride and Prejudice, the third one The Kill of Mockingbird. Number of books are 3. So far so good. Okay, so now we need to focus on the second part of the problem, which is segregating some of the fields or some of the methods inside the book and put them inside the library system. So I'm just going to create another class called the library system. Library system. Okay, and inside the library system, I'm going to put some properties and some fields, which are the count and the books. Okay, counts and the count and the books, and also move these two methods as they are inextricably connected to these two fields, the add books and the display count. And I'm going to also create another method called display box, as in all the box. Okay, display box, and this is add in camel case. And in the display box, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do for each to display all the books in the list. So for each book in box, and then I'm just gonna copy the console.write line in here and slightly modify it to adjust with the for each by adding book dot title, because now the book is the object, and in order to access the properties we need this object. So of course the ISBN will show a squiggly line because the ISBN is private read-only field which is accessible inside the book class. So in order for us to make it accessible outside of it, we need to do a getter, right? So void, or not void, really it's a string get ISBN, and that will return the ISBN. You can use this, but it knows that return this ISBN. So now you can use dot get ISBN, and that will return it. Okay, so now if you go inside the program, okay, so I'm just gonna comment this out for the moment, and you can start by creating an instance of this, really, and you can also just make this static, and then this will be a static library as well. You can make this static library, and because it has all the static fields, right? So you don't need an instance of this anymore. So you can just access the library system like this. Dot box. What was the name of this? Okay, box. Dot box equals new list of book, and the new list of book contains box, right? So you need to start adding the box like you are dealing with this class now. So new book, and then you add the box like this. You can add as many books as you want. I'm just gonna copy this one. Okay, and add a new book also. Add a third one. Okay, you can add as many books as you want, and then what else do we have? We can display all the books, display the count. So I'm just going to use the library system dot display box, and the library system dot display count. Okay, so display count really, I think, retrieves the count. Display count retrieves the count. So if you want to display the count, you just use control or console.write line. All right. Okay, so let's save F5. Start with debugging, and it shows us the title of the book, the Lord of the Ring, the author, the ISBN, the publication, and then the author of the book, the ISBN. Maybe we should do some sort of formatting, some sort of a separation, adding like this. Okay, and maybe stars. Now, okay, so, but we have a problem with the count. It says 0, and this is because once we add the box, okay, so we need to access really add the box, not the list. So we can access the list like this, but the count will not be instantiated, will not be triggered. So we need to access add box dot add book. Okay, and then inside add book we need new book and then instantiate this new book like this. Yeah, and then you can do the same thing. Okay, to instantiate it each time we add new book. Okay, and the third time like this. Okay, so now try it. Okay, now 3. Alright. Okay, so that concludes our lecture. Try to solve the assignment and compare it to my solution and try to see your progress. Thank you so much.